I'm at the factory today here to show you the features and the reason of why this UTV is different than most of the manufacturers out there in China, even your Yamaha, your mule type UTVs. So I want to quickly go over all the reasons and features and why we're different and what we're doing to go beyond what everybody else is doing. So the first thing I want to show you today is the tires here. We're using 2-inch tread that nobody else has used before. The biggest, tallest tread here in the industry. And we're also using some really nice looking two-tone rims here. They're aluminum, great looking rims. They're also 12-inch. We've got the window here, which is scratch resistant, plexiglass, and we've also got a rubber strip that runs along the bottom here. Most people don't use a rubber strip, so what happens is it scratches your plastic when you're riding. On the roof here, this is a molded roof out of plastic, and we've also got 4 off-road lights up here. So when you're driving, a lot of times, the lights in the front just aren't going to cut it. When you're actually driving through the terrain, driving through the forest, you need additional lights, which nobody really provides. These lights are super bright, and they will get the job done when you're doing night driving. It's also secured underneath, so that way the roof won't go flying out whenever you're driving. The next thing we're going to talk about is the doors here. A lot of different UTV manufacturers out there don't even offer doors, but the people that do offer doors, they have real low riding doors here, and it really doesn't protect you from everything when you're riding, because if it goes right here, your leg is completely exposed, so when the brush is coming through, you're going to get hit. So what we've done is we've raised the doors to cover your leg, so that way you're more protected while riding. The other thing is that our doors easily come off, just like this. Now the door's off and you're done. To put it back on, just put it in the little grooves here, slide it down. The first thing that we did different than anybody else out in the industry is we put adjustable seats in here. This can go forward, it can go backward. But not only just that, the seat can actually go forward. If I can get forward here. Goes forward and backwards as well. This really helps the people who need the additional legroom or who don't need the additional legroom. And then you can also put the seat back even more. We've also added adjustable headrests here. These can go up and down based on your own height. Most UTVs don't even offer a headrest. The next thing that we've done in the UTV is we've actually added a molded interior here. Most of the UTVs out there have a real low riding center console. It's not a really thick plastic. This right here, you could drop a brick on and it's not going to break. It's very durable plastic. We've also integrated cup holders and a storage unit here. Most UTVs either do not offer the storage or it's something you have to buy separately. So it's an included bonus when you buy the UTV here. The transmission that we've put in this thing is not unlike what you see in a car. Most of the UTVs out there, you have to put it in gear and then kind of wiggle it and make sure it goes into gear. This works just like a car. When it's in gear, it's in gear. There's no jiggling or wiggling stuff around, which you even have to do in the Yamaha Rhinos and a lot of other UTVs out there. So the transmission that we put in this thing is definitely top quality. Going through the controls and the features here, you do have a regular key ignition switch here, which you use to turn on the unit. You've got a digital display here. Now what you can do with this display is go to kilometers or miles per hour. You have your tripometer, which also can go to your hour meter as well. You can put time in here, and it's also got this display here for 4x4. Now you take the 4x4 off. Usually you have to be in neutral, so it's not going to take it off yet. And you've also got 4x4 lock, showing you that you're now in differential lock. And your controls are right here. That controls all of that. And this UTV is actually equipped with 2 winches. This is the top winch control right here, and we usually have a second winch control that's going to be right here. However, it's not been installed on this unit yet, not the wiring, but you will have 2 winch controls here, one for the front, one for the rear. It's also got a 12-volt adapter here, so you can put all your mobile devices on this. And then you've also got your center storage console here. You got your winch controls. It also comes with a better toolkit than anybody in the industry here, an actual high-quality toolkit set. Everything you need to be able to really work on your unit if you get stuck on the trails. One last thing about the interior is we've also added stitched seating here, so you can really be proud of the brand that you're driving here. Not only are they adjustable like I've talked about, but they are super, super comfortable. You're not going to be able to sit in like a Yamaha Rhino and be comfortable because the seats are basically molded plastic almost. If you sit in, say, like a Hyson or a CF Moto unit, they've just got a little bit of thin foam in there, so you're really not going to be that comfortable. We've decided, look, if you're going to spend a lot of time in this thing, you want to be comfortable. So we've put actually a lot of foam in these things and tested them to make sure that you're going to be comfortable while riding. Coming onto the back here, typically on the dump beds on all the UTVs, you're going to press this lever here and the dump bed's going to hydraulically just lift up, and then you have to try to push it back down. What we've done is actually added a hydraulic lift to this unit. So all you're going to have to do is press your button on the front of the dash there, and it's going to say lift it up or lower it down. And it will hydraulically lift this bed all the way up for you and bring it back down. So you're not going to have to sit here and try to push the bed down all the time and then, hurt your, whenever you actually press the lever on these things, the tension is so great that you almost feel like your finger is going to break to even get the unit to actually come up. So this is a really nice feature that we've added just for your comfort of being able to use this dump bed. On the back here we've added an X-bar. This is going to add a lot of stability to the roll cage. Obviously these things can roll if you don't operate them correctly. So we wanted to say, all right, in case that does happen, for whatever reason, we want this roll cage to not go anywhere. So we added this X-bar support in here just in case that does happen. Next thing we've done is we've added a rear bumper on this thing. This has never been done on a UTV before, and it's a great feature if you back it up and you're just hitting something, or if you just want to look cool. It's here for all those things. Usually it's about $199 to $249 upgrade at any retailer out there, but you get it when you buy a vehicle from us. Next thing to talk about is something we designed from the ground up that's never been done before, and that's a removable winch system that is attached to the tow hitch. The tow hitch is typically never included with a UTV, whether it's Hyson or Yamaha. We're including it for you. We're also putting a 2-inch ball on here. Now, why are we doing that? This unit right here, we've geared up to do 2,200 pounds. So we know that people are going to buy this to tow, and we want you to have the capability to do that straight out of the box. So we've added the tow hitch. The next thing that we've never been able to figure out is when you're riding along through the trails and you've got a front winch and you get stuck in say a mud puddle or something, or even a creek, do you really want to get out and tow your vehicle with the winch through the rest of that, or do you want to back out of there and then try it again a different way? Well, we thought our way was, it made a little more sense. So what we did is we put a winch on the front and the back. So if you do get stuck and you don't want to go any farther and you want to come back, you can now do so. It doesn't make sense why you would want to keep going through that. We've added it to the tow hitch, which is nice because what you can do is actually remove it very quickly by taking the pin out, pulling this out, and just pull it off. As long as you take your 2 wires off the windshield. The next thing that we've done that we're really proud of, that a lot of UTV manufacturers don't offer, is you always have a front sway bar. But what about the rear? How come nobody's putting a rear sway bar in the UTV? Some do, some don't. But what we've done is we've made it a standard feature on this UTV. And the sway bar is actually located right underneath here, underneath the drivetrain. The second thing that we've done underneath here is your drive bar, which is the center bar right there, is real thin. All the components around it are real thin on most of the UTVs out in the market. So what we've done is we've actually literally doubled the thickness of all the components on the drivetrain, so that way if you get stuck, there's a lot of pressure, or whatever the case may be, you're not going to run the risk of all those joints falling apart or your drive bar actually getting busted. So we've taken that to a whole other level that no one's done before. Underneath the hood, we've added a front snorkel here. What it does is allows air to be channeled in to the motor without having to rely on a center intake, which is typically only on most of the UTVs out there. So if you think about it, on your car even, you've got your air filter in the front and your intake in the front. So why would you not have it in your UTV? All your electrical components are up here except for the battery. The battery is actually located under the passenger seat. We've got all your relays up here, you've got your fuses, you've got your winch controllers, really everything you need to access to diagnose your unit. So we laid everything out properly underneath the hood here, so you can get there and have your user manual and say, okay, I'm having this problem, I think it's this issue, here's where you change this unit, or here's the fuse box you need to change, and it's just right here, located easy at your hands for you to access. You've also got your shocks here, which is going to be a independent suspension on front and rear, double A-arm suspension system on it. It's going to give you a real smooth and nice ride. What we did is we even took this thing for a lot of rides and in the mountains and said, what is the max comfortability that we can put these shocks at, so when the rider is riding the unit, he's going to be comfortable, it's going to ride well, and it's still going to tow well. It seems like you get a lot of the Chinese units and it's got a real bumpy ride. They didn't really know what they were doing with suspension. Luckily, I used to race, and I know how the suspension is supposed to be set on these things. So we've adjusted the suspension exactly how it needs to be set in order for you to be able to have a well-performing UTV and a comfortable ride at the same time. The next thing we've done, just as little features here and there, we've added a hood strap here. A lot of times, the manufacturers, and even most of them, don't even offer a hood strap. So when your hood comes out like this, it can damage the front of the hood pieces right here when it hits this bar. You've also got a horn in here, which is standard, and then all your cooling system right here, your overflow, and then your radiator cap, it's all right here, right at your hands, easy to use. The last thing I'm going to talk about is the front of the UTV and the drive system. A lot of people ask us, is this chain drive or is it belt driven? This motor is actually belt driven. There's no gears to shift, it's fully automatic. You've got high, low, neutral, reverse, and actually park. A lot of UTVs out there do not offer a park capability on the actual drive shaft. When you put it in park, the UTV is not going anywhere. We do suggest that you always put the e-brake up, but park is nice, and like I say, it's like a car transmission, and you have a park in your car transmission, so we said, hey, we'll do it the same way. That's it for this features list on the UTV. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call.